All right, another quick video on something that I did that cost relatively nothing for me. It might cost a little bit for you if you don't have this stuff already. It just so happened I had this stuff, so I used it. I was trying to figure out a way to charge my batteries on my boat, both my cranking and my trolling motor battery, and basically just maintain them, keep them on a trickle charge. Now I do have a trickle charger. I could have just plugged it in and left it plugged in, but maybe got a 2-bank charger or alternated the charger between my two batteries. But then I have something plugged in out here at my workshop 24 hours a day. I don't know. I really didn't want to do that. I didn't want to have something plugged in all the time. I really wanted to go another route. So what I did is I have 2 solar panels, and these are 10-watt solar panels. I already had them, and the reason I had them is because I have a gate way out at the end of my driveway. It's a long way out there, and originally I had them set up to solar power charge the battery that runs my gate, which is a 12-volt marine battery. I eventually just bought the wire and ran it through my fence, my picket fence on the inside of it, and ran it all the way out. So now it charges because the solar panels weren't keeping up with the battery usage, with the gates opening and closing very well, and I needed to come up with another solution. So I just put those on a 24-hour charger. So I had the solar panels is my point. I did have to build the mounts, but what I did, these solar panels are relatively cheap. You can go on eBay. They're really cheap if you just buy the panel. Now they do not come with, they're not going to come so that they won't overcharge the battery or that they won't pull power back from the battery when the sun is out. So you do have to buy something else as well, a small controller with these inexpensive panels. Again, these are 10-watt panels. I have 2 of them. Mounted them different ways. This one, I just mounted it with some stuff that I had. This is just a piece of aluminum that I had, and I just bent it around and screwed into my post. And this is just a plate to connect 2x4s together. And I just bent it around into the shape that I wanted to get it to where it was pointed the way I wanted it. And this one is actually from an old satellite dish. This is the part from an old satellite dish. And it's kind of neat because it has all the adjustments on it, so you can kind of angle it however you want. And I just screwed it to a couple of square tubes that were left over. I had some square tubing left over from when I had my metal building and carport put in. So I just cut a couple pieces for the weight so I could set it on the front of my boat, and just screwed my solar panel to it. So it works pretty good because I adjusted it the way I wanted it. And the next thing you'll need after you get your 10-watt panels, or whatever wattage you decide, you can get one of these. And this is a small controller. You can get them off eBay. I want to say they cost $8. Less than 10 for sure. And that's with shipping. Super simple charger, nothing fancy about it. It just has, you have your input from your solar panel. You have your output, this is your input from your solar panel. This is output to your battery. And this is for like if you have a light bulb that you want to run or something. I'm not sure. And they have USB plugs. I don't use any of this stuff. I don't even know what these buttons are for. You just plug the wires in and it works. And I don't know if you can see it. It's up to it's at 14.4 volts. So it is shut off. Normally the arrow is blinking, showing that it's charging. It shuts off at 14.4. So this is no longer running, which is another advantage. Reason you want to have one of these controllers, so it does shut off and you don't overcharge your battery. From there, I bought a 12-foot cigarette lighter plug right here off of Amazon. Again, relatively cheap, less than $10. I don't remember exactly, but less than $10. And then I just put a cigarette lighter port in the side of my console. And the back side, the wires come out and just go straight to the battery. So when I'm leaving to go fishing, I just unplug this and set it up on somewhere and hang it. And then when I get home, I just take this and I just plug it back into the cigarette lighter port, and I'm charging again. And it's maintaining my battery. So it's really easy, really, really easy. And now you can see now that that arrow is blinking because I unplugged it and plugged it back in, and I went down to 14 volts. There's at 14.1. It's going to come right back, but my point is that that shuts off at 14.4. So, and on this side, right now I don't have the I just put this one in, and I don't have my new cigarette lighter cord yet, the 12 foot. So I'm using a short one, but once I get my full size one, I'm going to mount this with double stick tape onto the back side of this solar panel so it stays out of the weather. And then my cord will be long enough to make it all the way to my trolling motor battery, which is underneath the tarp that I keep on the front of my boat. Just to keep the sun UV off the paint job on the front of my boat and the weather. So that's it. I mean, it's very easy, it's very inexpensive, and it's once you have it set up, it costs you nothing to have your batteries maintained all the time. You know, as long as you get some sunny days, as long as your boat is in a spot that's conducive to having something like this. It just so happens mine is points out in a perfect spot. The sun rises back there, it comes across, and it sets back there. So these solar panels are in the sun almost all day long. So it worked out really well for me. And if your boat, or if somehow you have a clear spot to put these panels, is a really good solution. So that's it. Just wanted to throw that out there, give a couple ideas. Maybe it'll help somebody. Thanks.